Hi there, my name is Bill Denby. I'm the VP of Product Marketing here at Texas, and today we're in conversation we have Raj Tadipatri. He's from Sedlak. Now, Raj is the Director of Client Services at Sedlak. Raj, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Bill, thank you for the opportunity today. My name is Raj Tadipatri. Uh, I'm a Director of Client Services with Sedlak Management Consulting. And Sedlak is in this business for almost 65 plus years, uh, managing the facilities and also um, IT system implementation. So, uh, about myself, I have been in this industry looking from all perspective, business as well as technology, for almost 25 plus years.
So, Raj, when we're looking at implementations of warehouse management systems, there's usually two owners, either IT or supply chain. Who owns the project? Who should be responsible for change management in a supply chain project and in an implementation of a warehouse management system, and why?
Change management, uh, it is a new term across the business industries. I mean, a lot of us in this industry, we think change management is owned by IT most of the time. But in my opinion, or in my seeing the industry for quite a long time, uh, this change management, unlike any other business functions, change management doesn't belong to one team in the organization. Typically, if we talk about the organizational change, HR owns the change management. We all know that, and we have experienced that. But in large organizations, function may be formal project management or change management office. We heard that quite often, and companies put into operations in this office of organizational development. If you talk about the broader perspective, but for the supply chain, it is owned by supply chain business group because that is where the project is initiated and that is where implementation projects are starting to evolve.
Communication is the lifeblood of change management, particularly in an implementation of a project like WMS. Why are issues around communication often the biggest issue that we hear about in failed projects, and how do you overcome those kinds of problems?
To WMS is a very crucial implementation project for an organization. If we look at the from the experience for the any project that has went through the implementation, and if you look at the lessons learned, one common theme come up all the time: lack of communication, not enough communication, or not sending the right message to the entire organization, not just to the impacted department, which is a supply chain department, but it need to be broadly communicated across the organization. That what that means is, if change management is implemented, or like project management, given an importance, because change management also needs very important role in any implementation, WMS implementation, for example, for the success of the project, because CEO or organization set the goal of going with the implementation of a warehouse management system and sending that message from time to time, and then take over a change manager per se, like change project manager, sending those messages and setting that plan. Like a project plan, you need to have the change management plan, which includes the communication plan.
So it's really all about having the communication plan and enacting upon that communication plan, not just doing it on an ad hoc basis kind of thing.
That's that is exactly correct, Bill. One other thing to add is this communication plan. You are defining what message and what form and the timing, because you need to send the common or unique message across the board, not the people making their own perception of the project, where we are. And also it is very important for the end user, what is in it for me. That is very important. That is the basic need of change management.
So, I mean, as well as communication having a plan, it sounds like the whole thing, the whole process of change management needs some kind of strategy and some kind of vision, and end stage vision. Who manages that? Like, is there a process that needs to go on? Who would be controlling and managing that process?
If we look at the change management, I touched on the project management, they go hand in hand, they go parallelly. Change management also need attention, resources, time, and dedication, like a project manager. So change manager owns the change management plan, which is a part of the uh, project management, larger team, entire project team. So strategy identifying from the get go, when the project is kicked off, this change management has to do the analysis and come up with a plan. And all along, you need to implement that change management plan to make it successful. And the different ways of communicating. One very important is a communication in the change management.
Now, we're starting to see in the marketplace large projects being managed in a different way. There are different methodologies. P3 is one of them. There's a few others, but basically, it's almost crowdsourced based change, where it's bottom up driven rather than solution design, rather than top down, and there's a solution design and transformation that's driven from the actual at the lowest level of operator upwards, who actually defining the master plan. Is that something you're seeing in the marketplace? How is that changing the dialogue internally around change management for warehouse management systems?
If we look at the crowdsourcing collaboration, it's a collaboration among the best. And today there are many avenues and tools, as you mentioned, for the crowdsource. Think like pet projects or creative endeavors, and are a way to corporate innovation. So, in this digital age, for 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 crowdsourcing ideas and opportunities for the change management can yield significant results. Um, for example, crowdsourcing ideas from a group of forward thinkers on how particular adoption strategy may work, or crowdsourcing ideas on how to fix thorny cultural issues that exist. The sense of participation and feeling that everyone can influence and shape the change program will have several allied benefits.
Projects like a WMS implementation can be managed. There can be a start, a middle, and an end, and you can go in knowing what you're supposed to be doing. People you have to lead. You can't just manage them, you have to lead them. How do you lead people effectively through change?
We always think that project management, I mean, you brought up a very good point. You can manage the project, which is primarily uh, resource, schedule, and budget. Whereas change management is a people side of change. People do, whether it is a personal change or uh, project implementation change, a professional change, you need to accept that change. So to make buy-in, sending that common message, and make sure that you have the less resistance to the change. How do we do that? I mean, we at Sedlak, we have a methodology we use, which is ready, willing, and able. So it is very important to accept. I mean, leaders need to communicate. That is the first step for the clear vision. What this WMS project is going to do for the organization, in turn, how it is going to affect me, meaning the associates in the WMS projects or stakeholders, for example. So willing, they need to accept that role, what role they are going to play, and they need to believe in that vision from what it was set by the leaders. And also they need to able to be trained. That is very important. I mean, again comes the training part, and making sure that they are reinforced.
We've both been involved in warehouse implementations, and when people hear about, oh, we're gonna talk about change management, they think it's really a training session. It's a one and done type of situation. I'm going to bring you in, I'm going to train you, and you're going to leave completely transformed. Why is that assumption incorrect? What is the right way of doing this?
With my industry experience, Bill, I am seeing that till date, even the large organizations, whenever they have the change management part, or either their minimal implementation of the change management, or no change management and just a training in the end, and the train right before the go live. Change is a journey, not an event. So it need to be often overlooked on the project. So it is very, very important to differentiate between change management and project management. And from the starting initiation phase, and when the kickoff happens, you need to have that change management role included in your plan. So, as a change management practitioner for almost 15 plus years, and that in itself need a lot of work, uh, uh, because whenever you suggest to the leadership, we need a resource, including the dedicated change manager, and uh, time and money. Always you'll have the pushback. So if you push back the requirement of the change management, it will not be successful in the end. Training is a part of change management, making sure that we talked about when they're able to accept the change, we need to provide that change for the people so that they can um, perform their functions successfully after the go live.
So, right, we've been talking about the people side and the project side of change management. Do you have any kind of examples you can illustrate someone who's just getting into this whole process? Any examples or stories about how change management is done or went through a process and solved issues that came up in an implementation?
Sure. Uh, First example that I can give with my experience, this is one of the large retailer having the omni-channel retailer with both the retail stores as well as the online presence, implementing the WMS project across 5 distribution centers with impacting uh, almost 5,000 people. Uh, because of the change management initiation, this is the first one I can give from the memory, where involving the change manager role from the kickoff meeting all along, including sending that person to understand the change management. What is change management? So there are so many classes and organizations now available to understand fully and implement across the project. So by using the change manager, having the change management plan, identifying the stakeholder impact, and creating the communication plan uh, with, as I described, what kind of a communication, what is the message, what way, and when, and who. And if you have, I mean, we have the project communication. For example, you have the project status report, weekly report to the sponsors. You have budget, include the budget timeline and resources impacts, and also you have the status reports on the technical side of it. Also issues and weekly meetings, for example. Likewise, you need to have the change management communication set up and use the different ways. I mean, it could be town hall, it could be one-on-one, or it could be newsletter, or it could be any other different tools, or your intranet, or your social media, internal social media, so that people, whichever is comfortable, so to send the message across.
And how did the enacting of that kind of change management process affect the project?
Uh,
Did it have any kind of significant effect on the success of the project?
Uh, I will give that example. The before, no change management. It was always uh, you will uh, you'll hear that we did not hear about this project until the go live, when there is something didn't work, because we may have missed communicating to different departments, critical department, which because did not include, did not identify the stakeholders, did not have the project involvement. So that in itself will cause, in the end, a lot of issues to accept the application on a broader level. For example, WMS is a distribution and supply chain system, owns that. But whereas if you look at the merchandising, or your purchasing, or your customer service, they need to be included upfront, and their involvement, their input is very crucial.
So, I am uh, a business manager about to kick off a significant warehouse management implementation. What is the one thing you would tell me around what I should be doing to help my project be successful by managing the change that's going to occur? What are the key things I should be thinking about when I'm kicking this off from the aspect of change management?
Start planning the change management from the beginning for the successful results. So to position change in a way that feels personal to each employee from what is in it for me perspective. If you look at in general, change management, especially in this digital age, is very crucial. If we start early, if we are able to uh, include the change management as a necessary part of any project, any change, whether it is a small change or large change, like WMS or any application implementation, it is very, very important to start planning from the beginning.
So be proactive, involve everybody, communicate, those kinds of things. Absolutely,
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Raj. Great insights and an interesting topic today. So today's Texas in Conversation was with Raj Tadipatri, who is the Director of Client Services at Sedlak, and I am Bill Denby, the VP of Product Marketing at Texas. And if you found this interesting, looking for more information, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And for more of this kind of information and other warehouse and supply chain content, jump onto the Texas website. We have a resources page with a huge library of interesting content around this kind of general area. Have a great day, and thanks for your time.